Hello everybody and welcome to Soccer Showdown. I'm your host Martino Puccio. Alongside me this week is Joe D'Aloisio to help me out. Okay, so Champions League semifinals have started this week, starting off with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Roma. We're going to start off with Liverpool and Roma. Absolute destruction once again by Liverpool. They come in scoring 5 goals against Roma. Roma pulls back too late. But I want to talk about Mohamed Salah and how effective he's been this season. He's got, I think, about 43 goals in all competitions this season. He's been absolutely dominant. There hasn't been anyone like him for Liverpool, probably since Luis Suarez. Just talk about how great he's been and how it's really propelling Liverpool to the possible final.
Well, first off, before this matchup was even picked between in UEFA, Roma-Liverpool, I said going into it, the last team that Roma wanted to play, or any team for that fact, is Liverpool. Mohamed Salah is playing on a completely different level. He is so talented and right now, quite frankly, the best soccer player in the entire world. Move over Messi, move over Cristiano Ronaldo. Mohamed Salah has taken over the reins this season. He's been absolutely incredible. His pace is unbelievable. He's easily one of, if not the fastest player in the world. Yeah. He is a difference maker. You give him any space, he will make a big difference, and he clearly did. And that's the one thing that really destroyed Roma in this first leg, is that if you give a team like Liverpool, who uses their speed between Salah, Mane, Firmino, you give them space, they will take advantage of you, and that's exactly how they opened up and dismantled Roma.
Yeah, but speaking about that space, if you're a Swivel Di Francesco, why would you come in with a 3-5-2, not have that many guys out wide against what you said is the paciest team left in the competition, leaving all these chances possible? I mean, don't get me wrong, the finishes by Salah were absolutely amazing, and it's really what we see from Messi on a year-in, year-out basis, especially that chip on that second goal, the curler in the top left corner on the first one. But back to my main point, if you're Di Francesco and you're going into a place like Liverpool and they've absolutely dominated home, away, and this is your first semifinal in, I think, maybe ever for Roma, and definitely the first for some of these players, why are you putting them into a situation like this where the pressure is so high and the odds are stacked against you? Because that is not a sound game plan.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I don't think it was the right game plan going into the match. But if you go back and you look at the tape, that first 25 minutes for Roma, they actually played very compact. Their positioning was great. They didn't give a lot of space. But then it all fell apart, and it kind of was like, it was only a matter of time until Liverpool took advantage. It was as if they were kind of waiting and seeing, let's see what Roma's going to do. Let's see how aggressive they were going to do. It was overall bad managing on Roma's side. They should have played way more defensive. If they would have went into that game a little bit more defensive, maybe they escape losing 3-1, 3-2. But the aggressiveness early, Liverpool capitalized and completely destroyed them.
Yeah, speaking of the aggressiveness, because they're down 5-2 now. So they gave up 5 goals, and they got to be offensive going back home at the Olimpico. And we saw what happened when they were trying to be aggressive there. This is exactly what Liverpool wants. Because if you have a team like Roma that's playing aggressive like that, they're going to be making mistakes, and they're going to catch you on the counter. And I know Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain isn't going to be a player that's going to be in there. He's out, unfortunately, for the rest of the Champions League and the World Cup as well. But it showed that that didn't even matter that much because he went down early. So now, if you're Roma coming in there, what's the game plan going in? Because you got to not only score multiple goals, you cannot make any mistakes and not get caught on the counter as well.
I mean, they're kind of in a terrible situation. It's as simple as that sounds. That's the situation that they're in. They just did it, though. We just saw them do it against Barcelona. Yeah. But they played the perfect match. Now, again, are they capable of playing this another perfect game? I don't think they are. And they're going to be playing that exact game plan that Liverpool wants them to play. Yeah. If you want to be aggressive and you want to go stride for stride, there's no team right now that I think could compete with Liverpool and keep up with their pace. I just don't think they have enough in the tank to make it happen a second time.
Yeah, I mean, 2 perfect games is really asking a lot, let alone 1. Okay, so moving on to the second matchup, of course, was Bayern-Real Madrid, the 2 heavyweights that are really left here. 5 Champions League titles for Bayern, 12 for Real Madrid, back-to-back current winners of the competition. But Arjen Robben goes down in the first few minutes. Obviously, that's a big loss because he's one of their better players and more veteran players in this competition. Real Madrid, once again, man. I mean, if Cristiano Ronaldo isn't playing their best, someone else is. And it's been Asensio and Marcelo in this game. They get 2 away goals. I know Bayern pulled one back with Kimmich scoring a nice goal as well. But 2-1 at home, if you're Bayern, you're not feeling that great. But at the same time, I mean, you're not totally out of this because they played well against Real Madrid last year back at the Bernabeu. So what do you think their chances are like?
And it seems as if, though, we're constantly getting this Bayern-Real Madrid matchup for the last 4 years
Before
or so.
the final.
Yeah, we've constantly are seeing this rematch over and over and over again. And quite frankly, yes, Real Madrid wins 2-1. But if you look back at the game, I don't think either team did anything extraordinary. Real Madrid, Cristiano Ronaldo, he didn't do much, which is fine. They're so talented. There's so much talent on that roster that he doesn't need to do everything. But he really didn't do much to impact the game, and that's what's scary, though.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's scary, because with a player that's that talented, if he does nothing and you still win, can you imagine what the team looks like when he actually performs?
When he steps up back at home.
So what I'm saying is, is Bayern completely out of it here at 2-1? Absolutely not. They have the talent. You mentioned the Robben injury. Boateng, who's been dealing with injuries for a majority of the year, also got injured. So they still have a chance, but the scary part is you didn't see vintage Cristiano Ronaldo, who's been dominating the Champions League. So if that comes out, here we are, Real Madrid probably facing Liverpool on their quest for a three-peat.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at right now, and that would be quite a final. And speaking of finals, Serie A this past week just had Juve and Napoli go head-to-head against each other. Juve was up by 4 points, but Napoli does the unthinkable. They come in, Koulibaly scores the late winner at Juve to lead Napoli to the win 1-0, close the gap to 1 point in Serie A. Now, Juve has a very difficult schedule right now. We're going to throw up both teams right here on the board. There's 4 games left for each of them, as you see. Juve definitely has the more difficult path here. They still have to play Inter this weekend, which we'll get into right now, and then Roma as well. Napoli, you see a couple other games. They should be able to take care of it, but the pressure is all on them because it's their Scudetto to lose, in my opinion, at this point. So, anyways, Juve going into against Inter this weekend is a major matchup. Inter also has Champions League implications for themselves, and you as an Inter fan know how big of a game this is. So it's not like Inter has nothing to play for here. And this is one of the bigger rivalries as well. What do you expect?
I think that's why I'm wearing the Nerazzurri a little bit here for Inter. But I expect a tough matchup, and Inter has been up and down all season long, and now somehow at the end, they're right there in the cusp of making that Champions League push. And with 1 point out, home field advantage at the San Siro, I think really they have a great opportunity here to play against a Juve team who really is rattled. Yeah. They are rattled after what happened in Champions League against Real Madrid, that last second loss, essentially. Yeah. So I think they really, going into it, all the momentum is away from Juve. It is Juve's championship to lose this season. Now, my only concern, and this has nothing to do with Inter per se, but my concern is with Napoli. My concern with Napoli is they have always been a team that has been filled with talent, but time in and time out, they continue to blow the easy game at the end that could have rewarded them a championship. Yeah. And I want to say that this is the year that they get past that bump, they get over that hump, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think somehow, some way, Juve strikes again, as always, when it comes to Serie A, and they take the title.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the opposite of you. I think Napoli's got this, and you know what? It's the perfect storm here. And you talk about how they fail time and time again when it matters most. They just proved us wrong there. They went into Juve basically unbeatable there outside of the Champions League, right? How many teams have we really seen go in there and get the win? And arguably, that was the biggest game in Serie A for Napoli in decades. And they went in there and they got the winner out. So they feel like they're playing with house money right now, right? And I know they're behind 1 point, but when you're playing like teams like Inter and Roma, who are basically on real highs right now, especially Inter's locked in to get that Champions League spot, I think I would take that. And remember, Chiellini's out hurt too. And that's another player you don't like to have. Buffon's on his last leg. I think everything's going against Juve. I wouldn't be surprised if Juve came back and won the Scudetto, but at the same time, I really like the way Napoli is playing, and I hope they pull it out. Because this is going to be 6, 7, 8 years in a row. This is something Serie A needs, and it's something Napoli desperately needs, because it'll carry momentum into other competitions too. Because it can show they can compete and win trophies at the same level as a club like Juve.
Hey, and it's definitely more than just Juve winning again, like you just mentioned. And most importantly, it's about the overall level of soccer in the Serie A, and really showing that there is competition. That they're different than the German league, who is run by Bayern. It's different than La Liga, that is, two or three teams, Atletico in the mix there. It shows that there's not a single powerhouse. And especially, it's great that, you have that close race for 1 and 2 right there for the title, and then you have a close race between Roma, Inter, and Lazio for Champions League, and for one of those 3 teams to end up in 3rd place. So it really shows that each of the teams can really compete with one another, and that's what's great about Serie A.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be an amazing race for the end of the season. So he says Juve, I say Napoli. I want to thank everybody for watching this week. I'm Martino, Puccio, Joe D'Aloisio. See you guys next time on Soccer Showdown.